part of this evening. As I said, we'll start to live stream very shortly. Joya is going to lead the live stream camera around the stations. So number 2 is, could you person your station so that when we come by and make a visit, you can say a little bit about your work for the camera, which will be shared with our remote audience. And number 3 is, those of you who are joining the futuristic charette, material charette, please go to the back corner because we will start right at 6 o'clock. And there's a team of 6 of us, but anybody can join in. Okay, so if you're a charetteur, please go over to that station. Okay, I'm gonna hand it over to Anna and then Joya. So here we go.
All right, so we've just opened up the Zoom. I'll give you folks a few seconds to connect here. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for being here, everybody, both the people in the space in and around me and the people joining on Zoom now. Good evening from Concordia University's 4th space, located on unceded Indigenous land in Tiohtià:ke, Montreal. At 4th space, every day something happens, and that something is directly linked to the research projects, initiatives, and classroom activities at Concordia University, which leads me to tonight's event. Welcome to, and I'll try to do this title justice, Power to Process. Move over, Mundane Materiality. Gusto. This is an activation of 4th Space by Concordia student curators, explorers, researchers, makers, and designers. So I'll pass it over to Joya in just a second for a proper intro to this live walkthrough. But before doing so, just a quick thank you and congratulations to all of the students who have taken over 4th Space with their projects. It's been a pleasure to chat with you, to work with you, and help you activate your ideas today and the couple days leading up to today. So have a great event and enjoy the walkthrough. Over to you, Joya.
Hi, everyone. So I'll start with Malika's work, and I'll just transport this camera so we're able to have a small discussion. So here we are. Malika, thank you so much for just inviting us into your space. And could you please just talk a little bit about your performance and what you wanted us to see tonight?
Hi guys, I'm Malika. Nice to meet you all. Finally, we are the 24th of November. Woo! I'm so glad to meet you all. Finally. Well, right now I'm performing about the measurements of transitions, any type of methodologies that has to do with art history or just personal ways of depicting, understanding the in-between. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Malika. So we'll move over to Anne's presentation right now. And I think this will be a great spot. Anne, there you go. So please speak to us a little bit about your project and just how you came about to making all these wonderful works.
Okay, so my project is about noticing gravity that's all around us as an invisible forces that informs everything we do on planet Earth and that we often forget. So while doing my research, I noticed that one thing that freed the materials of gravity was magnetic fields and magnetic forces. And one thing that I really liked, it was ferrofluids, and I think it really was a fun material because it was both a liquid but also had moved with magnetic fields. So what I did was is a simulation of ferrofluids using Touch Designer. So you can move the spinning tops on the table and it will react as a simulation of the ferrofluids as a liquid digitally. Because the digital doesn't have gravity, so you have to program the physics and everything. So the digital is gravity-less.
Okay, that's awesome. And I have a question for you. So obviously at the beginning of the course, you chose to be a researcher. And I was just wondering, what did that feel like for you throughout the course? And what, let's say, one thing that you'll remember from this course?
It feels a bit lonely to do that, just being on your computer and being here with people, actually testing it and see how it works with the space and I didn't measure shadows. That's a thing.
Yeah, okay. That's
taken into
interesting.
account.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really wanted to produce something with ferrofluids for a while, so that was a great occasion to do that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for participating and being here also. It's very nice of you.
Thank you for organizing everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Great. Okay, so David is not here tonight. Maybe we can, I'll just shift the camera a bit so that we're able to see David's work. Maybe this is too close. Maybe Anne, you can, just so that we're able to see David's work. Awesome. So David Rose is a performer. His performance is recorded. So we currently have an audio coming from underneath the table. All these ceramic vessels were actually made for the course, made to measure for this table gathering. And the food was also thought very carefully and intricately to present a sense of gathering. And gathering was the material that David was working with. So we're able to see here that this space, obviously, because of COVID times, is not a space where we can all sit around, but it was the idea that David was thinking about. And the audio coming in from underneath is I think, can transmit the sense of a gathering taking place, and also with Thanksgiving coming soon. We have a sense of a family space. We can move over to this space. So for this artwork, this is Alex Bachmeyer's piece, and I'll read her description just so that we're able to understand clearly what is expressed here. So this piece is called Untitled Pleated Plastics, and I'll read now the description. So butterfly pea flower bioplastics made from gelatin, glycerin, water, vinegar, butterfly pea flowers, embroidery thread, metal wire, organza, 6mm jump rings, cotton linen fabric, silver conductive thread, white sewable lead, and nickel snaps. So this project explores the hybrid potential of bioplastics and how they can be integrated into costume design for detailed masks, collar, cuffs, shoulder details. The colors archived by steeping pH-sensitive butterfly pea flowers in water and adding vinegar to shift the hue lightly violet from midnight blue, which is particularly noticeable when backlit. This is why we have a light table. The texture, volume, and flexibility of these samples are achieved using pleating and English honeycomb smoking techniques, old techniques that can help improve fit for garments constructed using otherwise non-stretch material. The final sample incorporates Tajima embroidered circuits and hand-stitched leads into the base material and represents a first step towards wearable electronic bioplastics. And I think this is a really great material in a sense because it relates directly to the lab walk we made this semester with the material textile cluster. And we were able to think of materiality and textiles in different ways. And I think that is what Alex made with this awesome project. So you can move along with me. Hi, everyone. Do we have a mic, Douglas? Okay. Yes. So we are right now in front of the Explorer charette, and maybe Professor Duclos can explain a bit in a few words what this exercise takes into account.
Are we allowed to demask for the?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So we are, as Joya said, in the charette station. The folks that you see behind me have 10 minutes each to solve a kind of materials-based challenge. And these challenges are drawn directly from the lab walks. There were 10 lab walks, as you probably know, each one of them introducing a new kind of materiality to the students. So I'll just give you the question that they're trying to answer right now. Their first ideation: everyone carries a schizophanometer in their pockets. This device records and saves sound. It transmits to various other devices in one's home and workplace. These receiving devices produce material or sensorial records of previous sounds. There's an ever-expanding menu of how a sound bit can be absorbed by the human body at any time. They're being asked now to name and describe 3 products on the menu that can be chosen on the schizophenometer when the sound bits are first recorded. The big question is, in what forms might the sounds be reheard and reabsorbed at a future time? So for example, if I have a schizophenometer in my pocket and I record the conversation that Joya and I had today, I could bring that home and I could later turn it into a candy that I would suck on and I would remember the entire conversation. So that's the kind of crazy futuristic thinking that they're doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Perfect. So we'll move on the other side. Maybe we'll be able to show some more projects. Okay, so now we're in front of Liam Mclooney's project, and I'm going to read this description. So the 4 photographs are part of this installation. So 4 black and white prints on fiber paper. These images were part of the same roll of film where it was soaked in byproduct of pigment extraction called a supernatant, from a technique known as precipitation. The product itself is a transparent colored liquid and has no uses and very few notable properties, aside from the fact that it is pH neutral. These prints were most exceptional in that they exhibited the most dramatic and varied effects from the soak and made me the most curious about what exactly it did to the roll of film. So this is an experimentation that Liam did in the dark rooms. So we'll now move over to just look at this little nook. This space that the curators created is intended to present the manifestos that were created throughout our course. The manifestos were aimed at resembling both explorers, curators, and also researchers in small trios, and asked them to think about the title of this exhibition, which is Move Over Mundane Materiality, and they had to produce a manifesto and record it in a sense that so that we could hear their voice. And now we're able to vision these manifestos in this small cinema that they made. So we can now move here and look at Mary Bell's project. So I'll also read the description now. Okay, so this is a watercolor ink, collage, canvas, and paper. This piece is inspired by the discussions the class had with Nathan Brown of the Center for Expanded Poetics on the interdisciplinary aspects of poetics, arts, and other fields of normal inquiry, example, architecture, design, textiles, and the sciences, as is said on the center's website. The piece is also inspired by the work of Suzanne Simard, a UBC professor of forest ecology who has conducted groundbreaking research on mycorrhizal networks. The separate parts on the forest, which like poetics, arts, sciences, architecture, design, and textiles, among others, work in unison with each other to build stronger networks. So this is the piece that Mary decided to make. Mary is actually an explorer, so she was a part of all the lab walks that we made, asking questions, and this is the project that she made just really in collaboration with the Center for Expanded Poetics and also thoughts on the field of forest research. Okay, so now, Emiliano, you want to come speak a bit about your project?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, just a few words. We'll just ask you a few words and we'll move over afterwards to Alexandre's piece. Okay, so can you just present your projects in a few words and just explain what you decided to create?
Well, basically, what I decided to do for my project is just displaying my research. So I haven't produced any work at all. It's just, it's a really like broad research. Even if I wanted to like narrow it down, it's pretty broad because I'm really researching, can an image become an object or can an image be an object? So like for the time period we had for the class, I'm really still at the research like part of the process.
Yes.
So that's why I decided to like really show what I've been researching, shows I've been going to, or just books and essays I've been reading. So
Awesome.
this is what I showed.
And I see that you have a few, like, obviously pieces. This is from the exhibition at Centre Phi.
Yeah.
Are you able to speak about some of the pieces that you brought in and how they relate to your project?
Well, for example, this work at the Fondation Fipolard was a work that really like stood out to me and that really related to image materiality. Like it's really about like photo theory and like just the photo word, but it's a sculptural work. But I still can see this as like post photography or
Yes.
like post image work. So this is really like all this is about. So that's why I found it was important to include it in the
Awesome.
table. And some other objects are just like photo related objects, or yeah, let's say like just like this piece of box that is just like an image, but it is also like an object, and it's just these like random and banal objects that are still images or objects. It's just like in between, I guess.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for talking about your project. Thank you. Awesome. Alexandre? Alexandre, would you be able to present your project for the camera in a few words? Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so you can speak right into the mic. And just maybe in a few words, explain why you decided to work with smell and the fact that you brought this amazing installation that also has photographs on the top. So yeah, just speak about it freely.
Now is it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I chose to make this project. It's like a long time I was wanting to do this project. I study like perfumery, kind of in the thought of like doing this project. I was wanting to do an anthropology of smell, and I related each like smell with like a picture. So like every smell have like a story behind, and like
Perfect.
you can like scan through the QR code to hear the story related to it.
Perfect. So example, if you give me one of the small sticks that you brought in, maybe I can describe the smell that you created.
Yes.
Okay. So
This is
this is the smell in the early Christianity. That's what you call this.
Yes.
Perfect. So I'll smell it now. And for me, it's very floral. I guess it smells a bit of d'aloes or.
Yeah, like cinnamon.
Okay.
roses.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like also rosemary.
Rosemary.
Like extract, and like really, like you had spikenard,
Yes.
which is like not really like a smell that we're used to. It is like an extraction of like a plant that was like really like used in this area, and yeah, so
Okay.
it's like related to like every like smell was like related to a particular like holy person.
Awesome. And would you just, and this is just a curious question, but would you be able to use these smells as a perfume or would
You can.
Okay.
But I had some smells that actually stink.
Yeah,
So it's
okay,
not
yes.
wanting to like be all like smelling
Okay.
good. So like all like the.
Well, thank you so much. You have really an amazing project, and I'm so proud that we can show this and just engage in the sensorial aspect of the exhibition with your work. So thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so you can actually go talk to Abigail right now. Hello, Abigail. So would you be open to say a few words about soccer and why you decided to bring all these wonderful objects in the space? In a few minutes, we can give you a mic.
So you want me to just tell you a little bit about why?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so we, an interpretive team, we decided to put together a little board of things, of materials from Sucker, which is Concordia University's Center for Creative Reuse, where we're basically saving items from the landfill, and we want to present them to artists to find a different use for these things. So we stopped by Sucker earlier today, and grabbed a few items just to show off what could be found there. We had in our class discussed in a theoretical way some things we could do to promote sucker if we had the funding for it. And I thought, hey, with no money, we could promote it in our own way also.
Yes.
So this is just a show of all the kind of little things that they have at Sucker to inspire people to use materials that aren't ready to go to the garbage yet.
Perfect. So I guess this is an invitation for all of the students in our course to go visit Sucker and find out a few things about them.
Absolutely, yeah. Look them up online, get their hours, and you can make an appointment and go see them today.
That's great. Thank you so much, Abigail, for participating and making this possible. That's awesome.
And
Great.
if anybody wants to take any of this stuff, take it home
Yes,
with you.
it's free. So please go ahead and grab something. Thank you. Great. So, oh, actually, we forgot to speak a few words. We forgot to speak about the resource bank made by our wonderful curators. They brought in many different resources and were able to navigate them on this table. Obviously, we have the link to the resource bank on our Moodle page if you want to always go and refer to it, because it's an amazing, c'est vraiment une mine d'or. So amazing. We can now go to see Samuel so that he can speak to us about his glazes. Bonjour, Samuel. Just a few words to explain your project and just explain how you decided to bring in these amazing works and how you tied it up together as a researcher.
Yeah, so I wanted to test different glazes and really play with the chemicality of it, play with the different oxides and components of glazes. Sometimes to stretch a base to have different result with it. And also I just tried a bunch of found recipes to experiment the same oxides in different recipes, how they react with other elements.
Maybe a bit closer.
Yeah. So that's pretty much.
So you created a mold, and then you molded these faces.
Yeah, I mold these faces, but then I distort the mold because I really want them to be all unique. And some of the glazes sometimes are the same glazes, but with different oxides, and sometimes it's also the same glazes but fired at different temperature. So you can really see that also the firing temperature of those really affects the effect they will create.
Absolutely. So I think you really grasped the idea, the course of taking one single material, which is the glaze of ceramic, and just experimenting with it, and obviously just with different type of heat and different types of colors and different types of chemicals in each glaze. So I think you just really brought this course to the next level, and thank you so much for making this artwork for us.
Thank you. And also I really don't use any colored stains. I really go with like elements from the periodic tables, like to create these colors. Yeah, that's really something
the colors are the result.
I don't want to go buy a stain,
No.
mix it, and the stain is purple. I know I'm gonna get purple. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm more interested in really do the chemicality.
And that's really amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so Jared, are you able to speak a few words about your project, just to the people that are at home?
Like us do there?
Yes, exactly.
Hello, everyone.
So this is Jared, a researcher in our course, made this amazing interactive table. So all of you are invited to go and interact with these pieces, but please just speak a few words about your project.
Yeah, of course. So my project's called Redo, actually, and it's basically just an exploration into 35mm film photography. And I kind of of want to expand my own practice and see what I can do. So I kind of separated the project into 3 parts. There's like camera manipulation, so like, you know, trying double exposures, putting like gels in different colors on the lens itself for flash. Secondly, you have the film, so I was trying different films out using expired film, and then lastly there's editing. So I tried to like making collages and doing different printing practices like making risographs or cyanotypes. And the final kind of piece is actually this book right here, if you want to just take a look at it. And there's actually attached to as well are the final pieces, as well as scans, and basically it's just kind of a journal in a sense that encompasses you know, the past couple months and all my interests and different projects I was working on while experimenting. So for example, here's a double exposure actually, and it's actually kind of a nice illusion because it looks like they're 2 different photos, but it's actually taken from the same frame. And this is just one of many sections. This is actually a scanner. I just cut out a photo and I just actually scanned it and moved it around. But basically it was just a way for me to kind of explore and expand my own practice. And I thought it was really cool. And the book came out nicely, and it's just kind of like a summary of what I've been doing the past couple months. So it was a really fun project, and I was happy to work on it. So
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for introducing us to your practice, and also for being here tonight with us.
Of course.
This would not have happened without the amazing researchers like you. So thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so actually this is Gazelle's work. I will read the description. I don't see Gazelle right now. Maybe. Okay, so I'll read the description. So this is called the Ontology of a Void. The Ontology of a Void is a video capture of VVVV, hybrid visual textual live programming environment. This work explores change in the external form of a being through a movement of patterns from harmony to chaos and vice versa. Okay, so now maybe we can go and speak to Sita about her installation. Okay, so Sita, would you be able to just speak a few words about your project?
Yes, but I'm sorry.
No, maybe just a few words just to explain your process and why you decided to be exhibitor.
Is it live?
Yes.
Stick close.
Yeah.
Looking at the, so she's
1
my
minute.
supporter.
Okay.
They are my supporter, please. Okay. Hi.
So what, for example, you decided to be a researcher in this course.
Yeah.
And I know that you were wondering about many different aspects of materiality,
Yeah.
and you enjoy working with natural dyes. So can you please talk a bit about a few natural dyes that you used on these clothes?
So yeah, for sure. At first, my process was to take some plant or food waste, thing that is really abundant around us, make sure to not destroy my environment, so be very aware of that. That was very important, as well as creating like a methodology to create all of these, because it's so much and you want to make sure that everything is well done and respectful. So that was the the beginning of the whole process. But then the idea was also to create the largest spectrum of color as possible, because it's really easy to get some orange or bright yellow or colors that are probably more warm, I would say. And then looking for blue or green, which are a color you can easily find in nature usually, was so hard. So this is like probably the hardest part of the research, was to get some colors that I thought would be easy to get, and also like experimenting with I would say like creating a relation with plant and other properties, such as different pH elements, like sodium bicarbonate or bien vinegar. So they were changing all the colors, and then such as this scarf they're holding right now, it's just like a piece that is rebuilt after being cut. So this is like one major piece of my research, because it's actually showing like the patchwork of the whole process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here, Sita, and making this great installation for us.
Thank you
Very
so much.
proud.
Thank you.
Awesome. So this is actually Nathan's work. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? It's nice to meet you.
Yes, absolutely. Are you able to speak a few words about your
yeah,
project?
sure,
Great, awesome. Just to the camera.
Hello. So this is a 3D simulated animation of water fluids, investigating kind of the presence of the natural world within a cold digital space, and the dichotomy between digital spaces and how much they can replicate the natural world now. And so yeah, I basically pieced this together by using a bunch of little particles that together created the simulation of water. So the white water and the actual water are separate, and they're put together at the end. And yeah, it took me a long time. I enjoyed it. It was really fun though. Yeah.
Perfect. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for making this. And just for the people at home, just so that you can understand, Nathan's video is playing on this very large screen at the back, but it's also, people in the street are able to see this video. So it's probably an introduction to the fourth space. Before entering, even walking down the street, you're able to see Nathan's video, which I find amazing.
Yeah.
So thank
I really
you so much
appreciate you for making it so public.
perfect,
yeah,
perfect.
amazing.
I'm happy that you're happy.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so now we can speak a bit with Simone, just speaking a few words about the project
Clapping for Nate.
and how you made it all possible. Simone is a curator in the course. This space would not be possible, so please just speak a few words.
Well, first of all, I have to thank Joya and Rebecca for giving us this learning environment to really be able to spread our wings and just let everyone go their own way and follow their own interests, while also working collectively and creating this huge project that's culminating into such a beautiful event that really was very much a flow of ideas, just everyone going on their own path, interested in their own research, and coming together to create a cohesive event that's just so beautiful to see and participate in. So it was so fun for me. I really just fell like head first into organizing it with my fellow curators, and we've been working on this for a few months now. And it's just so great and unprecedented for me to be able to have such an experience at school. And no one was expecting this when they came into the class. People signed up for an art history class expecting to write some papers. And here we are, for me, curating my first exhibit, and maybe for many other people participating in their first exhibit. So just a great time for all. And once again, thank you to Joya, our lovely TA, Rebecca, our teacher, and Fourth Space team, who is incredible.
Great.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you so much, Simone. Okay, so we're now going to move on to speak a bit with Catherine, if you are available. So, Catherine, are you available to speak just a few words at the moment with just to the camera, just so that the people at home are able to understand your work, just for 30 seconds if you're able to do so.
30 seconds.
However long you want.
Is it another elevator pitch
Yes,
for my
yes,
research?
absolutely.
Okay, well, I've been leading a research that you could put in a realm of sustainability research, and more specifically eco-health. So I've been looking at the manifestations of eco-anxiety in artistic practices. So what sort of poetic attention might eco-anxiety predispose individuals with an artistic practice from conception to execution? And the outcome of my research is that tonight I'm making myself available for one-on-one discussion on eco-anxiety. Because from leading that research in the form of free conversation with individual I got to participate in my research, is that the need to have centered and directed conversation on the subject is super important to allow for rest and just pointing the issue more clearly, because it is at the core of so many other anxieties and personal issues that often it gets lost in the fact that it isn't given a greater importance in the field of psychology and just in the field of health in general. And yeah, I also submitted this research to a grant, a sustainability research award, and I would love to create group opportunities for group conversation on the subject if I obtain that grant.
Yes.
So that's my project.
Well, I really hope so, because this idea of a performance is really right on, and it obviously you tackle the material of psychology and anxiety and fear and also relationships. So I think it's amazing that you decided to make a one-on-one performance, and I think it really captures what eco-anxiety is all about. So thank you so much once again for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, so now we're just going to take a rapid look to the works of Elliot Mann making soapstone sculptures. We also have in this other corner, we have a project. So this is Jan Kundiv's project. So this is made out of earth bricks, samples of soil, sand, and straw. So this is an installation that was brought in by Jan. Here we have a project by Delaney. Hi, how are you? Awesome. Are you able to speak a few words about your project? Yes, great. So I pass you on the mic, and you can just maybe just express your thoughts.
Yeah, so this project I did based on mummification processes in the Incan and Japanese communities.
Are you able to speak a bit?
Oh, sure. And I decided to take just the materials that I found through my research and utilize them into a way that can process grief in a way that I felt was reflective of that process. So I decided to, every night for a month, I would burn collected leaves and take the ashes, put it on my hands, and construct this web every night. And through the nodding and things like that, I would really kind of think and meditate on this idea of grief and processing. And I also constructed, they weren't able to include this into the web, but I constructed these pins that were, that look like flies that are supposed to go on the ends of the web in a circle. So there's no spider left, but there is still flies. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here and for making this beautiful artwork for us and just being so implicated in the course. It's really appreciated.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so now we can take maybe a fast look at Philippe Vandal's product. So this is called Mesocosm, Micro Remediation of Contaminated Soils, custom-made gas flux chamber, a scientific device that is used to monitor gas emanation from wetlands, water bodies, or soils. Okay, so here we have Jérémy Richer-Légary's project. So I ache to be touched until I ache, graphite and charcoal on paper. So I'll read the description. 3 different acts of caring have been described by 3 participants as moments they think back to with longing. 3 drawings exploring their 3 different acts of touching have been drawn, erased, and redrawn until their surfaces have become saturated with marks. They become violently love-smothered pages, which were once expressing tender moments from the past. Playfully presents among sketches representing earlier stages of the process. This project embraces a sort of scrapbook aesthetic in the hopes of suggesting an intimate desire to document, remember, and immortalize. So we also have the possibility to lift this and watch a video. Okay, so now we're going to speak a few words with Ola so that she can speak to us about her project. Is the mic working? Awesome. Ola, are you able to speak a few words about your project?
Can I take this off?
Yes, absolutely.
Is it a good position here?
Yes,
Okay.
awesome.
So basically, my project is a sculpture of organic and non-organic materials, and I wanted to experience the reaction and interactions between the two materials, and to disrupt the fact that decay and growth can be unified and can be considered an art. And even if something is dying, like decay, it's considered an art. So I want to disrupt that. Thank you. This is Ola.
Thank you so much. Okay. So we actually went through all the projects. This is the last one that we'll be able to talk to. So this is a project by Shannon. So I'll read the description. So this is a fieldwork notebook. It's also a syllabus that is exhibited here and a course proposal. So this assemblage follows an investigative process inspired by intuitive research methods, while simultaneously researching the concept of intuition with an inter- and transdisciplinary concept-based approach. These texts are presented as a record of thoughts, ideas, notes, and reflections. Please do not write inside the fieldwork notebook, but feel free to flip through it. And visitors are invited to engage and mark up, revise the art historical methods sample and the independent study syllabus. So Shannon actually decided to, rather to produce an object or a video, produce a syllabus for an imaginative course and also a land acknowledgement and art historical methods. So this is what you're able to flip through a process here and find the, let's say, the work in progress, because people are allowed to really mark up her work and suggest maybe something. So this is a work in progress. So just before ending this lab box, I have a few thank yous to dedicate to some of the students. So I'll read a small text if you'll allow me. So I just wanted to say a few words to express our gratitude towards all the curators that helped to create this show and that helped make this exhibition possible. So I'll just name them just to thank them really much. So Michael, Gillian, Emma, Jacqueline, Melissa, Abigail, Sophie, Simone, Monty, Gaël, Ravia, Tiane, Amberly, Brianna, Amy, Nergis, Clémence, Tiffany, Gabrielle, et Alexia. Thank you so much. So also a huge recognition to all the people that brought us into their spaces. So to the scientists, artists, writers, and thinkers that allowed for the lab walks to be possible throughout the semester, we thank you from the bottom of our heart. Obviously, the team at Fort Space, Douglas behind the camera, Anna that is now in her office making sure that the Zoom is working right. Thank you so much. Also, all the people that work into Fort Space that are not visible right now, but that made this possible and that allow us to come into their space and use it for the whole week to mount this exhibit. Finally, obviously, to the students that created such amazing works. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. Have a great evening.